When I first announced on this channel that Kawasaki had given me a KLR 650, one of my famously outspoken friends, you know who you are, told me, "Hindi bagay sa'yo ang KLR." Translated, the KLR doesn't suit you. But you know what? He's right. I mean, right before I got it, I had wasted so much breath on this channel last year whining about how what I needed was a small dual sport so that I could finally get my confidence and enjoy riding off-road especially. And a couple of you called me out. After saying all of that, you went and got a KLR? A bike that's even bigger, heavier, taller, and with fewer features than the Himalayan 450 that you already had? Okay. Well, first of all, in my defense, you have to respect the grind. I mean, this opportunity for Kawasaki remains by far the biggest one that I've gotten in my time doing YouTube as a hobby. But I mean, all of that aside, more than that, riding the KLR is teaching me something that I think many, if not most riders already understand. And something that I failed to realize because I had become spoiled. Because of the modest success of this channel, I've been able to spend time with a lot of different motorcycles. And I've spent even more time thinking, and then blabbing here, about what is actually the perfect bike for me. You know, whether it was the old Himalayan, the new Himalayan, or a scrambler, a 250 dual sport, etc., changing according to what was my fixation at that specific moment in time. But after a couple of years of going back and forth in my mind about that, I have to admit, I got tired of my own bullshit. Because when I'm out there on the road, or even when I'm just scrolling through motorcycle social media, you know what I see? I see people who bought the bike that they could afford and just riding them. Whether it's touring, off-road, they did what they like to do on whatever they had. They're doing endurance rides on Honda Cub C70s, enduro trails on XSR 155s, or even doing the entire Philippine loop 2-up on a Mio 125. And yet, me, I remained at home using my bike as an excuse not to do the rides I always wanted. It just came to a point where I thought, come on, man. Like, really? Which brings me finally to my point. That I, and whatever fellow neurotic riders there are out there, waste time when we make the bike the reason and the excuse. And yet it appears to me that the guys and girls out there who are actually doing all the riding and having all the fun are doing it not just because of the bike that they have, but just as much maybe in spite of it. And you guys made me realize that because I've had all of these options, I became typically, classically, paralyzed by choice, waiting for the right one, while the rest of you were actually out there doing the riding. So unlike me, overthinking what was the right bike, you guys were out there and kayo na lang nag-a-adjust. That is, you're the ones who adjust to and embrace the limitations of whatever it is you have. And I think at the end of the day, number one, that's a sign that you really love riding. And number two, it makes you a better rider and even a better person, both in your skills, but even more so in your attitude and resourcefulness. But come to think of it, that's kind of how I was during the simple days when I had my Interceptor. I did everything with it almost unquestioningly. But somewhere along the way, after I had worked my way to have the option to have more than one bike to do everything, it seems like I just forgot that attitude. And now, of course, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't think hard about what bike to spend your hard-earned money on. But it does mean that once you've picked something, that you stop wondering about what else is out there and that you love what you have. You may eventually change or upgrade, but not until you've ridden that bike into the ground and found its limits. I mean, To use what seems to be my favorite metaphor in my bike reviews, it's like a relationship, isn't it? You can't really be happy with someone if you're always wondering what else is out there. And the fact is that sometimes the urge to find better is merely an illusion, a trick of your mind to find not long-term happiness, but just the next dopamine hit. And I also noticed that the best riders I know adjust without complaint or excuses to whatever bike they have to ride. And I guess this is why when you watch Adam Riemann on a KLR, it looks like he's riding any other bike, whether it's an F900 GS, T7, 1300 GS, Northern 901, it doesn't seem to matter. And in fact, he tends to seem to notice more when bikes have too much going on rather than when they supposedly lack any capability. Which of course brings me back to our beloved KLR that allegedly doesn't suit me. Yeah, I'll admit, it's not the bike I would have chosen if Kawasaki hadn't picked it for me. But you know what? It's a reliable, comfortable, perfectly functioning, and indestructible machine that loves to cover long distances, especially off the highway. And that's plenty. I guess I don't need the perfect bike anymore. In fact, I'm just glad I have one, and I'm so happy that I get to ride it for the upcoming Visayas Mindanao leg of my Philippine loop. And I can't wait to get back in the saddle, forget about all of this other nonsense, and just ride and create, which are the two things I love to do the most. So if you maybe don't feel satisfied with your bike because of all these shiny distractions you see on social media, I want to assure you that whatever you have is probably not just enough. It probably, for somebody else, is a lot. So you and me, I think, let's just shut up and ride. Thank you for watching, and I will definitely see you on the next adventure.